1202, we copy it.
They had to do something called a forfeit, which meant they had to take underwear off.
Lord Jesus, surround her with the circle of thy divine protection.
I don't think we're criminals, you know? There's a law that's supposed to be applied, and it's not applied.
I don't remember what month it is, what day it is.
For some people, just recognizing someone they've met is hard enough. But for witnesses of crimes, it's vital to get it right. Cases of mistaken identity happen all the time. More often than not, it doesn't really matter. But when that case goes to court and the person is sent to prison, then it can be disastrous. Cases like this, and there are many of them, people are in prison right now, they're convinced they are victims of mistaken identity. So what happened? What happened? What happened? Where they're gone? Over there? What happened?
They just grabbed my bag off my shoulder. It's got about
how much was in that bag?
I've just been to the bank. It had about 100 quid in it.
Wait, so we've had a crime here. Somebody said their bag's got 100 quid in it.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys see what happened?
No. Too fast, man.
Did anybody here? Did anybody get a good look? Did you see what happened?
No.
Did you see anybody come out of that road? Anybody? You must have seen somebody come down there.
No.
That's where it seemed to happen. Over here, you're in the best position. Did you see what happened? No. Nobody saw. I did. You saw what happened. What happened?
He did.
Tell me what you saw.
There was a bloke in a red jumper.
Yeah.
And I just saw him.
Where did they come from?
They came from straight up there.
And how many of them? Two guys?
Two of them, and I saw them go right out there.
And did you get a good look at what they looked like?
Yeah, I think I could.
Just the backs.
One had a hat on.
I think I could identify
All right,
them.
well, as you can see, some people, not many, saw what happened. What we're going to do is take these guys, go over and build up a picture of what actually happened and come back later and see if we can solve the crime. So can you tell me a bit more? What two guys, you say?
Yeah.
And can you just begin to describe them to me?
Well, dark hair.
This is the Kirby Home Care system, but it's not just an ordinary Hoover. Its manufacturers claim that with the help of these attachments, it can also groom your pet, unblock your drains, spray paint on your walls, and even massage your scalp. You can't buy the Kirby Home Care system in the shops. You can only buy it, in fact, in the comfort of your own living rooms from a salesman from one of the 80 companies in the UK that sell the Kirby Home Care system.
It's a great gang that sells the Kirby. It's a great gang to know. We're full of pep and ginger, and the watchword is let's go, let's go.
At the end of every month, we had a meal, a group meal, where all the workers of NTV UK would go out together. And it was so-called a losers and winners meal. The losers got to eat beans. They was warm. And the winners who had sold a Kirby, they got to eat steak. Now, I hadn't sold any Kirbys, so I got to eat beans.
If people didn't make the target on a weekend or they came in late one day, they had to do something called a forfeit, which meant they had to take underwear off, put it on their heads over the trousers and go outside to shops or stand on a wall outside and start singing songs.
You got matched with another person from another branch. He sold 2, I didn't sell any, so therefore he got to put a pie in my face.
They hold a daily meeting, and you have to go there for 10 o'clock. And basically, the company manager comes in, and you have to sort of all jump up, and he's saying things like, "How are you feeling?" And you sort of have a train to repeat, "Boy, I feel great." And you know, just things, silly things like that. And how's your attitude? We are positive. And it's actually got "We Are Positive" stamped on the back of the chairs. And after that, you might have a little sing-song, so you have a Kirby songbook.
I'm forever selling Kirbys, selling Kirbys night and day. I get a lead, follow up with speed, show how it cleans, explain their need.
We had a phone call from the company. They said that we'd won a prize, a sweet clean or a holiday voucher. My husband said we'll have the holiday voucher if we've won it. Then she said, would we object if they did a 15-minute demonstration of a vacuum cleaner, which they weren't selling, they just wanted us to pass our comments on. So he said, OK. The next day they came round and demonstrated this vacuum cleaner. But as soon as the man came in with it, he said straight away that he was out to sell it. And the demonstration that should have took 15 minutes took 2.5 hours.
If you saw all this dirt in a hospital, wouldn't you complain?
Outside there are people spitting, drunks vomiting and dogs walking. One way or another it gets walked into your house.
If this carpet was see-through and you could see all the dirt underneath it, you wouldn't leave it there, would you?
In one word, what would you call it? Filth? Dirt?
I wasn't particularly impressed with the way he demonstrated the machine. I thought it was making out that you were dirty, but the machine itself was very impressive. So, but the price was rather high. We managed to come to some agreement on the price and decided to buy, but the thing that clinched the sale was the excellent warranty what it had. Unconditional 2 years parts and labour and a lifetime's labour-free warranty.
Just about every salesman told a customer a different warranty. Everybody had their own warranty, what they were telling people.
The Kirby company claims to have sold 350,000 home care systems in the UK over the past 15 years. At nearly £800 a time, someone must be making good money. Is it the salesman?
The advert said that I could be earning up to about £800 a month.
The £800, well, it's absolutely impossible. You just cannot do the 60 registrations and demonstrations to qualify for the Kirby £800 payment.
He's spending quite a bit of money on petrol, something like £70, £80 a week at least. So my mother had to help me out at first, and now I'm in, well, about £300 in debt with her because of working for them.
I worked at NTV UK for 2 weeks and no money at all, and spent £70 in petrol running about to various customers.
How much is that Kirby in the window? The one that cleans up without fail. How much is that Kirby in the window? I do hope that Kirby's for sale. I don't want a Lux or a Hoover. I don't want a mop for the floor. If I had a Kirby to assist me, my knuckles and knees would be sore.
Lay thy hands of healing upon her, in body, mind, and spirit. Make whole. Bring her light, Lord, and lift her unto thee. Lord Jesus, surround her with the circle of thy divine protection, and may thy holy angels dwell in this home to preserve her in health and in peace. Amen.
Well, Lorraine, everyone wants to know, did it work? The situation's got worse.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that we disturbed the ghost?
Yeah.
What has happened?
He's still banging about and playing with Holly's toys.
Oh dear. Mick, do you believe in the ghost now?
I do now, because since you lot left last week, I heard the beanbag move in the lounge, the floorboards creak upstairs, and when I went to bed, I heard the keyboard playing downstairs and the toys move in the bedroom.
Well, there's some people going to say enough is enough. It's time for you to consult Oliver James, our resident psychiatrist. Perhaps it's all your imagination.
Too many people have seen it to be someone's imagination.
How many people have seen it in all?
About 30 people.
Well, that is very weird. Have you any further thoughts on who the ghost could be?
It could be my dad, who's called Pete.
It could be Pete. I thought the ghost was Matthew.
It could be Pete, because my dad died when I was 4 years old. He fell down the stairs to his death, and Matthew won't come any further than the 4th step.
Well, that really is very strange. Well, we tried the exorcism last week, and quite clearly it didn't work. We'd like to actually make an appeal now. If there are any scientists out there or real-life Ghostbusters, we would like to hear from them to see whether we can beat this ghost scientifically. So if you have any ideas how we can beat Matthew, or Pete, as we've now discovered he's called, please do contact us.
Starry-eyed and laughing, I recall when we were caught, held by an old track of ours for their high suspended. Listen one last time, and we watched with one last look, spellbound and swallowed till the tolling and down. Tolling for the every one, whose words cannot be nursed. For the countless confused, accused, misused, sung out once and words. For every hung up person in the whole wide universe, and we gaze upon the chimes of freedom flashing.
This is the West Midlands Emergency Centre, the nuclear bunker that's been our home now for 3 days.
On the first day, things started to drift apart, and we managed to pull things together. By setting up a main committee, we decided that we should have activities, that we wasn't just merely here to kill time, but actually to get something out of it. Dean was particularly keen on this. He wanted to write a play. So basically he's gone off and done that. I'm quite impressed that we found him sort of 2:30 in the morning down in the depths of the bunker, sort of wrapped in a blanket over a book, scribbling away.
So far I've got about halfway through the play. The characters I've chose sort of relate to the sort of people's characters that are here anyway. Sort of Alison, I've got as a sort of down-to-earth, sensible person, but apparently she hates me all the way through the play. I've got Mark, who's Mr. McTosh. He's a complete maniac, to say the least, and he's just being stupid all through it. We've got a romance blossoms, so I use them as a Romeo and Juliet, which is Dean and Becky. They're quite quiet here, so they haven't got much to say in the play, just lovey-dovey stuff. Jay, I've got as a bit of a cool dude, as he tries to be when he's up there anyway. Me, I don't know really, I've just just normal. A bit nutty now and again, but last but not least, we've got Adrian, who I've named Scrag. He's a bit of mature idiot, to say the least. But when I get it finished, I don't know, because trying to keep concentration in this place, it's quite hard.
Today I'm really fed up. It's been a lousy day. It's been boring. I felt physically ill. I felt listless. I just want to sleep. I'm shaking. I've got no energy. Beginning to niggle a little bit of a niggle with Mark, which was okay. No problems there. Just a bit fed up, really. Want to go home. Want to be pampered.
Although we have got a lot of space down here, we tend not to use it because it's so depressing down here, and we'd soon retire upstairs.
It's been okay. I mean, if there really was a nuclear bomb that dropped, I wouldn't like to be in here. I'd rather be dead, because you can't bring your family or nothing in here. I miss that a lot, my family, my little nieces. That's what I most miss, my family. Bit homesick.
We were just talking, me and Dean were just talking one night, and next minute I was arm in arm with each other and carried on from there. Hello.
Hello, I'm Adrian's sister. He applied for a job. His job's come through and he's got to start in the morning. Can we have him out?
Oh, right. Do you know that we're all locked in here until Sunday, that we can't really come out?
Yeah, I know that, but it's a bit of an emergency. He'll lose his job.
Oh, why don't I go and get him and see what he says, yeah? Your sister? You joking? No. What do you reckon, Aid?
I want to start.
Do you want a job?
I don't know.
Great to look at it. This lasts till Sunday. Your job's your future.
Well, I feel absolutely terrible, really, because I've made a lot of new friends. I've enjoyed.
Can get it all over with in the first place.
Most of the people here believe that they've lived past lives. It's a belief that they share with over half of the world. Usually, as in the case of somebody like Eddie here, it's no more than an intuitive guess. But there are documented cases of people who've related their past lives with alarming clarity. Eddie, you told me that you think you might have been a gladiator in a past life.
That's right.
Why do you think that?
I just like the thought of it. No, I don't really know. I just always had a thing about gladiators. So maybe I was a gladiator in my old life.
Okay, and Andrea, what do you think you might have been in a past life?
Well, maybe something Greek, maybe a Greek lady or a Greek man.
A Greek lady or a Greek man? What makes you think that?
Because I'm very drawn to the culture and I like Greece. Hot sun.
There is actually a technique to regress people back to past lives. This technique is known as regression hypnosis. With the regression hypnosis, people are taken back through their own lives, back through childhood, their actual birth, and then further back, and hopefully to former lives. But this isn't just a method of discovering whether you're a potential Cleopatra or Napoleon. It actually has a medical use. A lot of doctors recommend it for stress-related illnesses. Now, Andy, you had a lot of trouble with pre-exam stress.
Right, yes, I had a lot of exam nerves before the first MD, which is the first year of medicine.
And how did regression hypnosis help you?
Well, it helped a great deal, you know. Really, I was much more relaxed for exams and could cope much more.
You don't think if you'd just gone in and revised like everybody else, you could have just done
I think there's
them?
an element of that as well, but I think if you're relaxed for an exam, then definitely you can bring the best out of yourself.
Well, over here are our regression hypnotists, Joe Keaton and Leonard Wilder. In a moment, they're going to be taking Eddie and Andrea, and they're going to be putting them back, hopefully, to a former life, and we'll find out whether or not they were, where Eddie was a gladiator and Andrea was someone in Greece. On this side, we have a bunch of historians, top professional historians. They're going to be asking questions to Eddie and Andrea to find out if there's any historical truth in what they're saying. Later on, we're going to be having a kind of regression mastermind, and they're going to be firing the questions and using the Network 7. Finished anyway. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Celebrity Sam with all the latest news and gossip from Hollywood for Network 7. Rock star Tiffany just learned how tight the security surrounding her own concerts can be. Tiffany disguised herself in a blonde wig prior to a recent gig in Atlantic City to quickly go out and get a pizza. But when she tried to return through a stage door, Tiffany's own security force wouldn't let her in. To make matters worse, Tiffany forgot her backstage pass. Luckily, the teen pop star had enough money on hand to get through the front door by buying a ticket, and then asked one of the guards to get her manager, who finally let her backstage. Actress Rae Dawn Chong is set to star in Walking After Midnight, a new movie which explores theories of reincarnation. Among Rae Dawn's eclectic co-stars, actor Martin Sheen and singer Willie Nelson. All three stars share MacLane's belief in the possibility of having lived before. Elizabeth Taylor is reeling from the double whammy of continued physical pain in her back, as well as backbiting barbs from European film critics over her new movie, The Young Toscanini. Media on the continent have lambasted the film, Liz's first theatrical release in many years. European critics have called the movie, quote, awful, and says Taylor looks almost embalmed. Earlier, we showed you exclusive first pictures from the set of the new Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger comedy, Twins. But it turns out another movie had rights to that title first. A group of Canadian producers had secured the rights to the name Twins for their mystery drama starring actor Jeremy Irons. When these producers heard about the other twins, they decided to give up the title without a fight. After all, who'd want to do battle with Schwarzenegger? The Irons movie will be released later this month, and it has been renamed Dead Ringer. We'll have more news next time, but for now, that's the word from Hollywood, just between us.
Talking about me, baby, all over town. You've been talking about me, baby, and putting me down.
Last week on Bruno Brooks' Radio 1 show, Clark Datcher, lead singer of Johnny Hates Jazz, dropped a bombshell by announcing that the group would be unofficially splitting up. The worst thing about it was the other two band members knew nothing about his decision to make the announcement. But Network 7 can exclusively reveal this morning that although Clark is going to pursue a solo career, Johnny Hates Jazz have not split up. Here, Calvin and Mike tell their side of the story. Calvin, what exactly happened?
Well, we had no idea that Clark was going to be making the announcement, and basically I was at home and a friend of mine rang me up and said, I'm sorry to hear your group has split up. Obviously, we were aware for a long time that Clark wasn't really happy, and we knew that something was going to happen sooner or later. But the fact the decision was made without us knowing, and the fact that he said that the band was splitting up, presuming that we weren't going to go on and continue, was quite strange, really.
Did it make you feel quite angry?
No, not angry. I mean, that's the wrong word, really.
And, Mike, do you think that Clark got carried away with the idea of sort of being the next George Michael?
Sort of. I mean, we can probably speak about this better than anyone else. And sort of you get the feeling that he'd always wanted to be a solo artist, which we knew, but he's sort of maybe started to take it a bit too seriously. Maybe.
And if he's not starting recording his new solo stuff till January, is he? So why did he make the announcement so soon?
Good question. Good question. It doesn't really make sense for him or for us particularly. You know, we've still got an album that's in the charts, and you know.
Do you think he's the right kind of man to be a solo artist? Because didn't he have a nervous breakdown or something? There was rumours of that.
Well, yes, but I mean that's sort of the that's good media, really. That's good sort of. Good thing to say, really, when
I think the important,
rather be doing something else.
I mean, the important thing, like you mentioned, George Michael. I mean, Clark is very talented, and over the years, I've always said that he's a very, very good songwriter, in the same way that George Michael is. But one thing, George Michael is extremely motivated and works very hard. And
are you saying Clark isn't, or?
Well, when we started off, we all worked incredibly hard. That's the real shame of the thing, is that we did all work so hard to get the project happening. And in the last 6 months, he hasn't really been prepared to promote and work in the way that we have. So probably at the end of the day, it'll be a blessing in disguise for us, because we're very confident about the new material we have, and indeed with the new guy that we're probably going to be working with.
And can you tell us who the new guy is going to be yet?
No, unfortunately we can't. But all I can say is that there will be a new Johnny Hates Jazz single released in January, which will have our new singer.
Great. Have you spoken to Clark since he made that announcement?
No, in fact, the video you just saw just there for Don't Say It's Love was one of the last times we saw Clark.
You haven't seen him since then?
Well, we saw him once when we did Wogan, and that was it. I mean, and since he's moved to Holland, he's never once called me.
He just totally lost contact with you?
Yeah, sad,
really.
Is there anything you do want to say to him?
No, not really.
Get well soon.
Yeah.
He's not ill, is he?
Pardon me?
He's not ill?
Depends the way you look at it, I think.
Depends which way you look at it, yeah.
He's just gone slightly off the rails.
One day it'll be permanent.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Tower Records brings you Heaven on Earth with Belinda Carlisle. Belinda's 4 smash hits can all be found on her superb album, Heaven on Earth. Available now on LP, cassette and CD from Tower Records, Piccadilly Circus and Kensington High Street.
Hey, Freddie, what's happening?
My parents drained the pool.
Oh, so who wants to swim, huh?
The band didn't show.
Well, you have a stereo, right?
The bus from the girls' school broke down.
I see girls.
Brought a Pepsi.
Oh, man.
In America, a cola by any other name just isn't the same.
Imagine this is a high-performance engine. Put in an ordinary multigrade. Imagine this is an identical engine. Put in Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. Start them up. Now, temperatures in some parts of your engine could reach 295 degrees centigrade if driven to extremes. But when you see that eventually something like this can happen to an ordinary multigrade, the case for Mobil 1 is pretty clear.
He knows they're cool. He knows they're clear. But what he doesn't know is that now they're even mintier. Silly boy. Fox's Glacier Mints. Now 10% more minty.
When you wash, this is what you see. This is what you don't see. Hidden dirt soap and cleansers alone can't reach. Discover a thorough clean, Buff Puff Clean. Use your favorite soap and a Buff Puff facial sponge. Its gentle lifting action removes makeup, unclogs pores, lifts dead skin to reveal fresh, glowing skin. Discover the beauty of cleaner skin. Get Buff Puff Clean every day. Buff Puff facial sponges and disposable singles.
If I eat enough Heinz baked beans, do you think I'll grow up to be a belly dancer?
I can't see it somehow, but you never can tell. I thought you were going to be a belly dancer.
You're joking. Fast bowler.
No, you definitely wanted to be a ballet dancer. You did, you know. You did.
Millions of little Britons have grown up great knowing beans means...
Here, she saved £15 booking at Lum Polly. Get away.
This lot went to Lum Polly and got £60 off their holiday.
Get away.
You guys come with Lum Polly? Could have saved yourself £100.
Get away.
Yes, at Lum Polly, we discount every holiday we sell with only £20 to pay now.
Get away.
Get away for less with Lum Polly.
Moonlighting. 16 sensational love songs on one album. Out now.
Network 7 has come to Canada.
He really does. He really deserves hanging. And he should have his blasted feet chopped off.
Will the face fit the photo fit? A crime was committed at the beginning of the programme. Two guys steamed through a crowd, mugged a young girl and stole her handbag with contents worth about £100. Now, we have 4 eyewitnesses who claim to have a good look at the two guys who did it. And Dawn here is building up a photo fit with Peter. Peter, can I interrupt a moment? I know it's early days. How's it going so far?
Not terribly well, actually, in all honesty. We've got 4 witnesses. I think we've established that there was a white guy and there was a coloured guy, both young, not too tall.
Obviously, it's a very fast process we're doing today, but can it be pretty accurate normally?
It can be in the right circumstances, and I would say that normally I would have to allow an hour and a half, 2 hours with each witness to build up a face.
OK, so we're doing it as fast as we can today for the purposes of the programme.
We're going to do our best.
What features tend to stick in the mind? What do people usually remember first?
Well, the intriguing thing is that here we've got one guy who's looks a bit like a Bros type, and we've got... That's something that's come out very quickly. But it's basically hair, and there's some confusion as to whether a hat was involved here.
OK. So a lot of work. We better leave you to get on with it. One thing that can help the work of Peter is something called psychological priming. This is what they do with the American police force, and they're beginning to do with the British police force. They get the witnesses in the right frame of mind. Now, lawyer Mark Haslam is with 2 of the other witnesses, Joel and Philippe. What are you actually doing?
What I'm doing now is, in fact, what a police officer would do at the time, which is interviewing the witnesses who say they saw the incident to see if they can describe them at all, what they were wearing or what they looked like.
And how do you help them remember?
One of the best ways of doing that is simply to ask them to go back a bit in time and remember where they were to start with.
To prime them.
Well, that's right.
OK, well, let's go back to exactly where you were, which I think was over there. So let's nip round there and have a good look at what happened. Of course, there were just as many people as this involved in all this. So, Joel and Philippe, you were down here, were you? OK. So, Mark, why don't you talk them through what actually happened?
Where were you standing when you first saw
We
it?
walked over and we just positioned ourselves here as we see them jump down the
And then
stairs.
they all came from, well, 2 blokes, one black, one white bloke. They came running down.
Thursday was horrible. It's the worst day that we've had so far. It was a real case of the depression setting in. Everyone was completely fed up, lethargic, feeling ill. I was shaking, feeling physically ill. A couple of the others were like that as well. Hearing things, hearing ringing sounds. Jay was hearing things as he was going to sleep. So was I. Headaches, all that kind of thing. Disorientated, beginning to bicker a little bit with each other, but nothing too serious.
Nothing really happened over the last 2 days. Boredom's really set in. Lack of cigarettes, lack of food, lack of energy. I want to go home.
Generally, although we went down, we kind of went down together. The idea was that on Thursday we were going to completely relax. We weren't going to have any workshops or do any dishes. We were just going to rest and read books and things, which was maybe a bad move to decide that. In the end, we just lay about and did nothing, really.
OK?
Yeah.
Try it again.
Thursday, I think, was our worst day. It was really a low period. Hopefully, for the week, hopefully it won't get any worse than Thursday did.
The other very sad thing on Thursday was that Adrian came back after having left on Wednesday to go to his job, and we had to decide whether or not it would actually be fair for him to come into the bunker.
We put emotions aside and look at it sensibly and try and make a reasonable decision on the facts. And then we what I did.
Well, last night everybody thought Paul had cracked because he sort of had a bit of an energetic fit where he went round punching everything. The doors, the walls, especially a chair. He's taking it out on a chair a lot. I don't know.
What do you think?
About 6.
6 o'clock on Thursday?
Yeah.
If I told you it was about 10 o'clock on Friday, what do you think?
Might be telling the truth.
We're meant to be having an Olympics committee, we're meant to be learning Punjabi, we're meant to, God knows what else, we've got all sorts of things organised to the meeting. Whether or not we'll have the energy to run around and play sports, we're yet to see.
We're here live outside the nuclear bunker. Now, as you've probably just seen, things have started to turn a bit nasty the past couple of days. One bloke's been throwing punches, and a couple of them have rebelled and taken back their watches. So I don't know what sort of reception I'm going to get when I go in there. So here I've got Adrian Adams, who spent a few days there, but was then, as you've just seen, refused readmission. Now, what was it like adjusting inside, Adrian?
Well, we didn't know each other to start off with. We had to knit together as a team to get everything done.
Right, and what about when you came out?
Well, basically the light hit me when I got out. I come out because of a job, and as it was, they didn't need me at the time.
Well, did you feel angry when they said that you couldn't come back in?
Yeah, I did at first, but then I realised that it wouldn't happen in a real-life situation.
You took this job, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what happened?
Well, they didn't need me this week, so...
Right, so you came back now. You didn't feel, you did feel angry, but now you understand because you would have probably been suffering from radiation sickness, so you don't really blame them then because they might have been contaminated by you.
Yeah.
Right, OK. And we're going to be going inside later. How do you think they're going to react to us?
They'll probably welcome you because you're a new face.
You think so?
Yeah.
So you think they've been coping well? Well, what actually is going to happen because this is a nuclear experiment, we want them to spend another week inside there. So how do you think that they're going to react?
No, I don't think they like that somehow.
You don't think so? Wouldn't you like to be in there and spend another week with us?
No, I don't think so.
And definitely wouldn't go back in there at all. Right, well, I'm going to go and actually ring the bell now, and we'll see later how they're going to react.
Canada. To a Canadian, it's big, beautiful, and busy.
Network 7 has come to Canada.
I don't think we're criminals, you know? There's a law, there's supposed to be applied, and it's not applied. So in good civilian, I said, there's a law, okay, I'm gonna apply it. I believe in my cause, you know, I'm really involved, I want to be involved, and I think it's worth it.
Demonstrated that hundreds and hundreds of people are prepared to stand up and say, we support the FLQ.
The popular French-Canadian leader arrived. Large crowds were on hand to pay their last respects. At first, a formal state funeral was announced. But at the request of Laporte's widow, new arrangements have been made. The 49-year-old political leader, the father of 2 children, will now be buried Tuesday after a simple private ceremony here in Montreal.
Last year, Bill 101 was declared to be in violation of the Canadian Charter of Human Rights.
we spray some places that was against the law, you know, that were putting some English signs. We spread some paint on their faces. Young people get involved really much. They're gonna wake up or something and they're gonna say, yeah, there's a problem and we have to do something for it.
Quelqu'un qui va la nuit puis attaque les magasins puis se du monde qui sont dedans. La différence avec les terroristes, c'est que nous, jeunes...
If you want to eat, you'll have to speak French. If you want to sleep something, you'll have to speak French. If it's not essential, nobody will learn it.
Welcome back to Regression Mastermind. We're looking at the claims of people who think that they've lived past lives. Eddie Kidd over here thinks that he might have been a gladiator in his past life. Leonard Wilder, our regression hypnotist, has taken him back to his past life, and we'll find out whether or not he was a gladiator. Meanwhile, our team of historians over here have been browsing through the books in the Network 7 library, trying to find out if there's any historical accuracy in what Eddie's going to say.
4, 3, 2, 1. Eddie, I want you now to go back in time. You feel yourself getting younger and younger, Eddie. You are going back to the time when you first had the desire to become famous. Go back in time to the time.
Michael Jackson is expected to earn a total of $97 million for 1987 and 88. According to Forbes magazine, the 30-year-old singer knocked TV king Bill Cosby out of the #1 spot. But no tears for Cos. His earnings are estimated to be $92 million for the past 2 years. The only woman to make the top 10 is Madonna with her $46 million. The Material Girl can buy whatever she wants. The youngest on the list is 22-year-old Mike Tyson, whose powerful punch pulled in $55 million. The oldest entertainer in the top 40 is Frank Sinatra. Making $60 million at age 72 is a good way to ensure a happy retirement.
Fix it, it's an old banger. It was an old banger, I see. And do you get a lot of pleasure in riding a motorbike? Yeah. What do you want to do with it? To jump.
You want to jump with your motorbike?
Yeah.
Okay. Leonard, where is he now?
At the moment, he is about 14 years old. He wants to be famous. And he's got his motorbike, and he gets this great thrill of flying on his motorbike.
Can you take him back further?
I'd like to take him back, if we can, to a previous life to see if something in a previous life spurred this off. Eddie, I want you to roll back the years and go back in time. I want you to go back now to about the middle part of the 19th century. You're no longer Eddie Kidd. The year is 1844. This is 1844. Tell me, who are you? Malcolm. Malcolm? Hello, Malcolm. Malcolm, where are we? What town is this? Buxton. Buxton? Buxton in Derbyshire? Yeah. I see.
Just move on to the history.
Tell me, what do you do?
It's 1844, and
You're
Eddie
a
is in
blacksmith.
Buxton.
Harold, are you?
Are there any questions you'd like to ask him?
So, you work for
the towns near Buxton, and what are they famous for?
Sorry, can you say that again louder?
What are the towns near Buxton, and what are they famous for?
Where do you live? Spring Gardens. You live in Spring Gardens, Buxton, Derbyshire, in 1844.
Leonard, could you ask Eddie what the towns are in Buxton and what are they famous for?
Do you know any towns or villages near you? Matlock. Matlock. You know, is it famous for anything in particular? I don't know. You don't know. What I'd like to ask him now is what his interests are. Perhaps there's a link between the Eddie Kidd and the Malcolm. This will only take me a minute because he's very good.
Right.
Tell me, Malcolm, do you have any interests, anything you want to do? I ride horses. You like to ride horses? And do you ride horses? After I work.
You can ask questions as you like.
And so what do you do with the
throw
horses?
questions
What
to
gives you
Eddie.
pleasure in riding horses?
A town near Buxton is apparently Matlock.
Yes. What's it famous for?
He doesn't know what it's famous for. Is there anything else you'd like to ask him?
Yes.
What does he do for work? Okay.
What is your ultimate ambition with the horses? What do you want to do one day when you get older?
To be a show jumper.
You want to be a show jumper?
Leonard, could you ask him what he does for a living?
He's already told me that he's a blacksmith's assistant.
A blacksmith's assistant,
Yeah.
okay.
So you're a blacksmith's assistant, you like riding horses,
Right,
you enjoy the
Ask him
exhilarating-
who are the big landowners in the area.
Who are the big landowners?
And where do they live?
You should ask him can he describe what he does as a blacksmith? Can he describe that in any detail?
What does he wear?
What kind of
Right.
tools does he use?
Okay.
What does he think of the
What does he think of the what?
railways and canals?
Right. Okay, I'll try and remember all of those.
1988. And once again, you are Eddie Kidd. Once again, you are Eddie Kidd. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At 5, you will come out of your hypnosis feeling well and relaxed. Did you want me to ask him another question?
Yes, I did want you to ask him another question.
Well, we can ask him the question when he comes out of hypnosis because he will remember it all. In fact, a lot of the information will come to him even more readily once he comes out of hypnosis. So
Okay.
this won't invalidate it.
All right. Well,
Okay.
we want to know now what he wears as a blacksmith.
We'll do that. Can I just have to count up to 5?
Okay.
This is the technique.
Certainly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. We're back in the present, Eddie. You're in the studio here, and we're going to ask you a few questions. Sorry if it's a bit rushed, but there's a program going on. We have to do it this way. You've been great.
So, what do you wear? What were you wearing as a blacksmith?
Boots and an apron.
Boots and an apron. Could you speak to the historians if you can, and so they can hear? Can you hear from over there?
Yeah.
So you wore boots?
Boots.
Boots?
Yeah. Tell me, what's happening in Ireland at the moment?
In Ireland?
Yeah, do you know? Are they happy over there?
In Ireland?
Yeah.
I don't know, are they?
Oh, right.
Who is the big landowner in the area near Matlock?
Who's the owner? No idea. It was Buxton was the place I remember.
You were
That's
in
where-
Buxton?
yeah.
Yes. What do you think of the Corn Laws?
Of the
Corn Laws?
Court laws? I don't know.
Are you in a union?
Was I in a union? No, I was a blacksmith.
Fact is often stranger than fiction. Watch now and decide for yourself if this tale is true or false.
I don't want people to get the wrong idea because my boy Dominic's a good boy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just sort of going through a phase at the moment and he's getting himself into slightly awkward situations, but he's always been very, very good boy.
My name's Dominic. I work in this dump as a dishwasher. I do long, hard shifts, 12 hours, and then at home, during the evenings, I'm studying for an Open University course. It first happened after a shift here. I was on my way home on the tube. It was hot and sweaty and crowded. People were pushing and shoving. I hate that.
He's an animal. I've never seen him before in my life. The doctor said that the body, whatever you called them in my foot, were all swollen. I'll have to use a stick all my life. The pain is so bad, I just don't know what to do.
Well, I think it's outrageous that these young people go around attacking older people, especially our Pam, who must be suffering quite a lot through this ankle attack.
The good thing is being caught by the police. There's too much of it going on.
It's an outrageous thing to do anything like that to an old lady. He deserves hanging. He really does. He really deserves hanging. He should have his blasted feet chopped off like the Arabs do.
Dom and I sit down and talk quite a lot. Because he went to live up north with his father, I'm not perhaps as close to him as I would like to be, but we still do have a good relationship. We can communicate quite well. And so, as I say, we talk about it quite a lot. And he says that it's worse when he's in a crowded place, and he says sometimes it just kind of goes black, and then there's sort of like red spots flashing. And I suppose it's sort of a bit like epilepsy or something. Or, you know, it could be something as simple as a vitamin deficiency.
In Dominic's case, we felt that he was suffering from schizophrenic paranoia.
a mental disease which manifests itself in a persecution complex. After giving him some medication, we decided to put him into group therapy, which is what we have done. Thinks he's feeling a bit down, and his immediate reaction, he just smiles at them and they think everything's all right. Since your last visit, have you tried to be more serious when people talk to you?
No, well, I'm just being serious all the time.
Well, it's the smiling, you see. Everybody thinks that you're all right. If we all smile and walk around smiling, everybody says, oh, well, he's a happy chap, and everything's fine in the world with him. But we know that inside it necessarily isn't.
At least I'm showing people what my feelings are.
That's true, but it's taken such an extreme form that it's antisocial. And sooner or later, you know, it'll be very unpleasant. You'll step on the wrong people's feet and they'll react even more violently towards you. That's when you've got to start trying to control the situation. It's very difficult, of course it is.
Yeah.
But it's only time and practice and self-discipline that's going to help you. But it's not insoluble. You can cure it yourself by this constant repetition, I must not stamp on people's feet. It's the same as with Mel. She has to tell herself, this is not mine, whenever she feels like picking something up.
I think that maybe a whole new scene, a whole new change of environment, perhaps, you know. So, say 2 months away completely.
Who's going to pay for me to go away for 2 months? You know?
Well, he's tried.
I have to work because I need the money.
I think he's just alienated, you know. He's a bit like me in that sense. He's just alienated.
I do find it really stupid to have to do this, but I keep having to repeat to myself, I must not stand on people's feet. And my mother's paying a fortune to have this bloke tell me to do this. He says the subconscious will gradually pick up what the conscious is telling it to do. He said, I'll only get over the problem if I face it head on.
As was shown this morning in our group therapy session, Dominic is taking interest not only in his own case, but in other people's, and this can only help. The constant repetition of the phrase, I must not stamp on other people's feet, may seem strange and amusing to some people, but in his case, it's working it from his conscious into his subconscious, and we hope that we'll have the results that we desire.
My Open University course is really important to me. It's a 3-year course, and I'm halfway through the first year. It's environmental studies, which is housing, cities, transport, agriculture, that kind of thing. Hopefully, if I work hard at it and stick at it, I'll be able to get a good career by the end of it. It's almost like it's not me that's doing it. I find it hard to believe it's me. I mean, I know it is me, but it's more like some sort of bad dream. It's just that I hate my job. I can't stand it, and I want to get out of it as soon as I can. But I can't afford to at the moment. My mum's going away soon, and I've got this court case coming up. I don't know how that's going to turn out. And I just know, I just want to put everything behind me. I just want to start fresh and lead a normal life. Whether I get a new job or through the therapy or something, you know, I just want a normal life.
My name is Catherine. This is a story of how I went from a near skeleton, too weak to walk, to a competitor in the Miss Bikini International competition. Since moving down to London almost a year ago, I've done a lot of exhibition work. I've started modelling for fashion magazines and fitness posters. While I was exercising the other day, I got chatting to this guy next to me. And I ended up relating my life story to him. He said, no, that can't be true. And I said, well, actually.
Last week's tale in True or False was true.
your perm go wrong? No spots. Sit. No. Well, this stuff really works. Oxy-10. You got to ask the chemist for it. Here. Oh, Tom.
You gonna tell her or shall I?
Blitz those zits with Oxy.
Presenting Ross Tender Grill. Big, meaty and tender. Succulent Tender Grill top steaks. Meaty Tender Grill quarter pounders. Juicy Tender Grill grill steaks. Tasty Tender Grill beef burgers. They're so tender, you'll have nothing to beef about. Ross Tender Grill.
Mum, it's Melvin. Look, I'm afraid we're going to be late.
You're gonna be late? He's gonna be late.
Sister's never late.
Your father says your sister's never late.
She got more consideration.
I've got to work.
He's gotta work. I'll tell you this, they're working you too hard. They're slave drivers, those people.
I'll be an hour.
I'll come down. I'll bring you a sandwich. Your father will run me.
I don't
you
want a
run
sandwich.
me.
Eat there, no sandwich.
I'll bring you a jumper.
I don't want a sandwich. I don't want a jumper. This is a modern air-conditioned building.
It's never easy explaining why you're late, but a call shows you care.
You never told me it was air-conditioned.
Why would I tell you?
Melvin, some children talk to their parents. Now, what do you want in your sandwich? I got that matured Canadian cheddar that you like. I wish I'd known. I haven't got a lot in. Still, thanks for the call.
British Telecom. It's you we answer to.
Now you can get a whole year's interest-free credit on Sony products from those awfully nice comic people. You know where to come.
This week, The Times uncovers the secrets of the world's buried past. An exclusive Times preview of an exciting and beautiful new atlas, charting the history of the human race from its origins, with fascinating and accurate reconstructions of how our ancestors used to live and die, worship and make war. Encounter old worlds long since forgotten and see archaeology come to life this week in The Times.
Coca-Cola is it?
Before you check out a motor, check out Exchange and Mart. With so many cars, prices and information, you'll really wise up. Exchange and Mart. It gives you more clout.
I don't know what day it is, who my friends are.
Psychoanalysis, Network 7.
Basta! Basta!
Figlio mio.
Dino, no!
Dio mio. Madonna mia, scusami.
We're now inside the Network 7 bunker where our volunteers have been spending the week. Now, everyone's in pretty high spirits at the moment because they're about to go home. But it hasn't all been fun and games down here from what I can gather. Now, what exactly has been going on down here? Mark and Dean, is it somebody's been, apparently, Paul, you've been going around, you know, throwing punches at doors.
I think we've all sort of done that. That's just let off steam. I mean, other individuals have thrown crockery at the wall and sort of cut plugs off telly. So I mean,
who's been
up and down.
Crockery?
Ali.
You've been throwing crockery. Well, is this? I mean, you seem quite a sort of placid sort of guy. Is this in your nature to actually start throwing punches? Are you a violent person normally?
No, not really. Only at the wall.
Only at the wall, and that was what your frustrations. You were letting your frustrations out.
Yeah, just to to relieve the tension and to get on with it.
Now, I gather that you two also took your watches back. Why did you feel the need to do this? You were taking part in a nuclear experiment and you wouldn't really have a concept of time.
Well, we thought the time experiment was over, you see, because we had arranged, Ali had arranged a phone call for 10:30 and Dean had arranged a phone call for 12, so we had to know the time anyway. Somebody had correctly set the kitchen clock to the time, so we just thought, you know, it's over, so we're on the clock. I mean, that was sort of over 3 days, we'd gone without time.
And there was also a bit of fuss over television as well. Because
yeah, that was me. Last night I flipped this telly on. We had arranged at the start of the week that we shouldn't watch any television, but I did. But over the last week, we'd all, at some stage, watched a bit of television. And I was watching the Olympics last night. Ali came in with a pair of scissors.
And she cut it.
And cut off the plugs.
Now,
Becky created quite a lot of laughter.
Becky and Dino, over here, you, as we've just seen, have had a bit of a romance, yeah? Now, is that still bubbling?
Yeah.
It is. And what about your boyfriend?
He's long gone.
He's long gone, is
Yeah.
he? So it's going to go on.
Yep.
Well, look, this is, you know, obviously it's been a good experiment for a week, but really you'd have to spend more than a week in a real nuclear situation down in this bunker before you could actually come out and be safe. So what we've arranged is for you to actually spend another week down here in this bunker. So you will be here. So I'd start to, you know, put your beds up again. We've got some food outside which we're going to be bringing down for you. Okay?
No way. No way.
It's got to go to
I've got to go to work.
We've got to know.
I feel trapped in the present and have no remembrance of the past. And it's difficult to find out what the future has to offer me. I don't remember what month it is, what day it is, who my friends are, and what I've done.
Do you often try and look back and try and make yourself remember things? Do you go through photo albums to try and make yourself
Yes,
remember?
I do. I've got all my photos when I was in the RAF and that. The old addresses I used to know, people I used to know, like my wife's brothers.
What happened when you went back up north to see her again?
Oh, she just said that she wants a divorce and she doesn't want to see me anymore. As far as she's concerned, she's out of my life. Yeah, things like that. What day is this today? Not really. Is it? No, yes, I do. Sorry, I do. It's Wednesday today.
Right.
It's Wednesday today, yes, because tomorrow, Thursday, I go to my occupational club.
Right, do you know what kind of month it is?
No, is it? Oh, I'm not, is it November?
So you come here every week. Do you remember how much you've got to draw out every week?
It's 49.80, I think. Yes. Not terribly sure. Thank you very much.
Do you remember meeting us before?
I think not really. No. So I thought you were the first time I've seen you. That's how it is. I mean, I see you, as you say, I've seen you before, but to me, that was the first time I've met you.
Which way? Is it that side? Over there?
I'm thinking, yes, I think it may well truly be that way.
To the left?
This well could be
Which way?
the road we want to be on. There it is, here we are.
So it's here, it wasn't left?
Yeah, it wasn't left, it was here.
Before you know it.
You're singing for them?
Yeah, just for 3 or 4 hours.
You mean you work till midnight, and then you come home and work 3 or 4 hours more?
I don't mind.
I like the old films, like cowboy films, because you know what's going to happen. It doesn't matter what the film's going to do. You have an idea they're going to be Indians or something.
If anything happened to your parents, what do you think would happen to you?
That's something I've tried to think about, and still I don't know what would happen to me. You know, I've got to be put under care, I suppose.
I'm worried about the future for Richard. He has no life. Not like any other normal 26-year-old. And I feel he's trapped because of an illness that no one seems to know how to deal with or how to help us in any way at all.
Feeling so lost. Feeling that people I know I've forgotten, or they've forgotten me. Not knowing what the day after has, what tomorrow has to offer me. Just not knowing what the future has to offer me. It's driving me nuts.
Mind, where the chosen subject is past life regression. Over here, our hypnotist, Jo Keaton, has been taking Andrea back to her past life. She's somewhere in the mid-19th century. Meanwhile, our group of professional historians have been looking through their books, and they're going to be firing questions at her to try and find out if she really is in the 19th century.
What year is it?
Jo, can you ask her what her name is?
What is your name?
Jeanette
Jeanette what? What is your family name?
Nouveau.
Oh, you're French.
Oui.
And what does she do?
Yes. What do you do?
I'm a violinist. Play violin.
I don't know if you got that.
She's met you. You seem
she's
surprised that I didn't
somewhere in
know
the
your
19th
name.
century, and she's French, and she's a violinist.
Maybe.
In the mid 19th century.
You said that she was in the 19th.
Or maybe she's not. Hold on, I think she's in the 19th century. But she's a French violinist.
But we need to know.
I'll get the exact date. Okay.
Have you ever
Jo, sorry.
played it on the radio?
Can you ask her what date it is? Let me get this right.
Do you know what date it is? Do you know what the year is?
No.
Hmm? What year is it, Jeanette? What year is it? Surely you know that.
38.
38?
38 of which century?
Which 38?
90?
1938, sorry. So it's 1938.
Right.
She's a French violinist. Any questions?
What does she think of Menuhin?
What month is it? Forgive me.
May.
It's the month of May. What is the date, the actual date?
Do you want to throw that question at her?
What do you think of Menuhin, Jeanette? you heard of Manuin?
Oui?
Yes? Who is he?
What was Hitler doing in 1938?
I don't care.
Who is Manuin? Who is Manuin, Jeanette?
He's a violinist.
He is a violinist. And how old is he?
Very young. He's very good.
Very young, very good. What has he recorded? Has he recorded things, do you know?
I think so.
Can you tell us what? Have you heard him?
Oh, I've heard him.
Tell me, do you like Fritz Kreisler?
Did you hear that, Jeanette? Do you like Fritz Kreisler? Do you know who he is?
No.
She doesn't know who he is.
Who's the Prime Minister of France? What's special about the French government right now?
Questions. It's stupid.
Why is that a stupid question? You don't know who the Prime Minister of France is?
Can we try something a bit more simple? A bit simpler question. Perhaps she doesn't know anything about politics. Ask her where she lives or something. Ask her what her house is like.
What arrondissement do you live in Paris?
Did you hear that? Which area do you live in Paris? How old are you?
20.
What's your favorite hall in Paris to play in?
She may not look like Charlie Brown, but 14-year-old Erin Chase sounds just like the clumsy but lovable Peanuts hero. And as far as Peanuts producers Bill Melendez and Lee Mendelsohn are concerned, that's all that matters.
Boy, Schroeder, Snoopy was pretty upset when he heard that you didn't want him to be part of the band.
Erin is the 11th child actor to play Charlie Brown, but she's the first girl. And while some teenagers might have balked at the idea of playing a little boy, it didn't bother Erin one bit.
It really didn't matter to me that I would play the part of a boy. As long as I got the job, that would be enough for me.
Charlie Brown is a character that Erin says she's always related to.
I've always, enjoyed Charlie Brown's character and been able to identify with him because he just tries so hard to do everything just right and perfect that sometimes he messes up. His character is just like every normal kid. Good grief.
Erin's a pretty normal kid, too. When she's not working, she spends time with her favorite horse, Toby. She likes working as an actress now, but she has a very realistic view of her future career plans.
You always need something to fall back on in your life. And so I feel, if this works out, that's great. I'll stick with it, make a career out of it, because that'd be wonderful. But if it doesn't, I'll go to college and probably study law or psychology, one or the other.
Two guys steamed through a crowd and stole the girl's handbag. We have 4 witnesses to this incident. Let's see how they're getting on with photo-fit expert Peter Bennett. Peter, you must almost be there now.
Well, we're on the closing stages.
Can we see both of them?
Sure. I mean, there's still work to be done on that because I lost a couple of my witnesses at the crucial point, but...
They're back. Good. Well, as we can see, two different people. Most of the 4 witnesses were some better than others at giving you evidence.
Well, some a little bit more competent than others. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. And there is some dispute as to whether this chap had a hairstyle like that or whether he had a cap on or a hat or something on. But we've gone for the hairstyle, or they've gone for a hairstyle.
And so that's pretty well it, is it? All you do is more fine-tuning.
They actually want some high cheekbones on and the cheeks a little bit thinner on this white chap. And we're going to come back to him in a minute.
So one person who thinks he knows what makes a good witness is Professor Graham Davis. He's made massive surveys into this subject. Graham, is there such a thing as a good and bad witness?
Well, it's a matter of the right person at the right time at the right place. You've got to have someone who's attentive, who knows what they're watching, who's seeing things in a good light, and is questioned reasonably quickly afterwards to get all the vital information.
Now, in this attack, one of the muggers was white and one was black. Does that make a difference to the witnesses in building up pictures?
It does if it's a cross-racial identification. If it's a white person looking at a black suspect or a black person looking at a white suspect, then there are problems, yes.
OK, and what features would a white person look out for in someone from a different ethnic background?
Well, they might be tempted to use the same kinds of features that they use for identifying whites, and if so, they're in trouble. They might pick up, for instance, on the hairstyle or the eye colour. And in terms of telling, say, one black person from another, that's a very poor cue.
OK. Witnesses, you've helped compile these. Are you happy with what you've got?
Yeah.
And you still think you've really got the right people there?
Yeah.
They're pretty sure they're about as close as we can get to.
OK. All right, then. In a few minutes' time, a little later in the programme, we'll have an identity parade to see if the witnesses really can fit the faces to the suspects.
What do you mean none of them have turned up?
OK, I'll just have to read their letters then. This one's from Reggie Cray. Hello, friends. This letter is a suggestion and a request that you consider Pete Gillette to do a regular chat show with Network 7. He could talk to all the infamous characters, like Buster Edwards, the great train robber, and many others. I could arrange this.
I'm fed up with sport. Don't we get enough of it on TV already? I mean, I've only seen Morehouse getting his goal 58 times.
No, I think it's really good. I think Britain's winning all the important medals, like the rifle shooting, well, it came second in equestrian sport and important sport.
Rifle shooting, that's so obscure. Who wants to hear about three-position rifle shoot? I mean, great. We've won a world gold in a three-position rifle shoot.
Well, between me and you, I've actually dated Olympic star, Fatima Whitbread. She shot me.
He comes across very clear and has a good personality. I watched your programme last Sunday morning, and I was very impressed with him. He puts himself across extremely well. It just goes to show that good can come out of bad.
And I think Network 7...
If I heard a 4-minute warning, I'd like to be squashed between Linford Christie and Daley Thompson.
I'd whitewash the windows and put my head in a paper bag.
4 minutes? Why can't it be 8 minutes? Give us 4 more minutes, please, government.
I get my favourite James Brown album and put it on at 78 so I could hear all of it.
Well, if you agree with all these men in prison and want to see more of Pete Gillette on Network 7, let us know.
Would you say that you're somebody who might have a problem with authority if he was...
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I have a major problem with authority. I hate authority. I mean, I despise it.
Do you think we've seen evidence of that this afternoon in the sense that my authority as an interviewer has been...
Absolutely. I don't think that you think you have authority as an interviewer.
Well...
You could be wrong, you know.
Well, I mean... Interviewers normally sort of control... Interviewers normally control what happens.
That's because you usually have mindless people that you're interviewing.
Or people who don't have an authority problem.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. You see, these people want to, you know, it's like they come in and you ask them and they go, well, yeah, I guess so, you know, like, man, like, hey, dude, like, you know.
No, I enjoy it enormously, the fact that you do. But,
no, but
it is indicative of something about your personality, is it not? That you take control like this.
Yeah, yes, but that's it. Yeah, that's right.
Now, can I ask you?
Go ahead.
Why do you think you have this attitude to authority?
Because what have they ever done for me? You see, it's like you know, paying taxes. Why do I want to do that? I do, but why do I want to? What do they do with it? In America, what do they do with my tax dollars? Do they give it to the kids to help their lunch program? Yeah, you know what? And they put sugar and salt in it. The two worst things a person could possibly have. So now then people are trying to get them to stop doing that. Okay, what else do they do with it? What else do they do with it?
Build motorways.
They build what?
Freeways.
Freeways. And what happens to those cars? They kill people, don't they? That's all my money. That's all people ever want to do is kill somebody.
No, but this
They
doesn't-
want to
this
kill him
doesn't-
with a car, they want to kill him with food.
So what are you?
They want to kill him with a bomb.
You say
what?
you're an anarchist. I mean, there's a political philosophy. This doesn't sound to me necessarily very...
No, but I don't like authority. There is a place for authority, and there has to be some authority. Somebody has to take control, or else we're all like lemmings running to the sea, okay? Which is fine, but don't push me. You know, fine, I'll deal with it, I'll accept it to a point, you know?
But do you think, you know, but don't push me because I'm close to the edge? Is that, I mean, are you close to the edge?
Absolutely. I run the edge all the time. But there's no fun in life unless you play the edge.
In your personal life, when you first met your wife, were you still at the stage where you were very selfish? I mean,
Yes, I think probably so, yeah. When I met my wife, I was nuts.
How do you mean?
Oh, because everything, I was crazy. I'd lost my mind. I went to an analyst for about 7 months, because I basically had a nervous breakdown over this Bat Out of Hell thing. Because Bat Out of Hell became so big, so fast. It's like, and it wasn't, in that regard, yes, it was overnight, but I mean, I had been working for 12 years to get to an overnight success. But it was so big and so fast, and everybody came out of the woodwork and said, I'm your best friend, and I've believed in you ever since you were born. And you know, these are the same people that were telling me, you know, go away, you have no talent, you know. And all of a sudden, and then these, you know, your best friend was everywhere, and everybody wanted to come and take a little bite out of you like a bunch of piranha. And that's not why I did this. I did this, sure, I wanted to, you know, like when I do Shakespeare in the Park in 1973. I never read Shakespeare, but I got great reviews from it, and people would walk down the street, and they were going, boy, you were a great Rodrigo and Othello. And, you know, like, you know, I mean, that was like,
so you suddenly...
I was like all of a sudden going to myself, how could I be Rodrigo and Othello? You know, because I don't think like Rodrigo and Othello, but when I'm on the stage, I am Rodrigo.
So
but anyway,
when you had
okay,
this...
but what I liked was the work, and I did like the fact that people would respond to that work and enjoy it and would compliment me on it. That's great. That's what's, you know, it's part of it, you know? It's like, like I'm complimenting you on this interview because it's been really interesting. And I said before we finished, I want to copy this whole thing.
And you went to a shrink. What was he like? Was he good?
Yeah, he finally told me, okay, you're all right. You can go back in the world now, you know? So I did.
And what were your symptoms? Were you feeling paranoid?
Oh, totally. Totally paranoid. Totally paranoid. Didn't believe anyone, but he said to me, you're right not to believe anyone. He agreed with me on that accord. Yeah, but mostly it came down to dealing with living in a fishbowl, which I'd lived, but all of a sudden I was a big fish in a big bowl. Not a little fish in a little bowl, but a big fish in a big, big bowl.
That's when you met your wife?
Yeah.
Can you remember the first time you met her?
Yes. We went to a Chinese restaurant. Go back to food. But we went for lunch. People do have to eat lunch. No, yeah, we went to we were at a Chinese restaurant.
And you just ran into her?
No, she was working for the studio where we cut Bat Out of Hell.
And did you suddenly feel deep feelings of I've fallen in love at first
Yes,
sight?
as a matter of fact. I mean, well, we got married 21 days after we met. We've been married 12 years.
And was that like sort of, I mean, you
Yeah.
suddenly felt wonderful because you...
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. But I mean, yeah. I mean, it must have felt great, or I wouldn't have done it. It was all I know is that she kept going, "No, I won't marry you," for the longest time, and it was like it was killing me. I'm going, well, okay, fine then. I mean, I did this whole act for her, which I don't know whether if she ever saw it, whether I should tell her or not. But anyway, I did this whole act. See, I'm quite the little ham, and I'm very dramatic. And I did this whole act of ripping my heart out and throwing it into the snow and describing how it looked red against the white snow, you know. And after I did that, she says, okay, I'll marry you. Gee whiz, stop with this dramatic stuff already. You know, it's over the top now. Let's go. And, you know, so that was basically that.
And did that, I mean, that stabilized you?
No. No, the psychiatrist, I can't remember his name, but he was the one that actually did. I mean, we dealt a long time with this not being able to be called a star thing. You know, not putting into print, Meatloaf, the new rock star. I was just new rock artist or new rock and roller or whatever. But the star word just was freaking me out. And all these people, because I didn't want to be a star.
You'd literally get kind of hysterical if you read a magazine.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'd be screaming. And if I was in an ad, I mean, I would stop them running the ad. I mean, I was like, yes, nuts behind it. Because I did not want to be a star because there's too many things that came with the word star. Too many, I think there's too many responsibilities, and all I want to do is work at what I do and not be a star.
You said that
and not get ripped off. I mean, I don't care about being rich, but don't rip me off, because that's back to the authority figure that I hate, because they're, you know, they'll look, you know.
You didn't want to become...
Authority figures, let me tell you what.
You didn't want to become one.
Yeah, I didn't want to become one, but authority figures also look at you in the front with a smile while they have a knife pointed at your back. And that's how I feel about it.
And you said you think that is because you got messed about as a child.
Yeah, but I got messed up my whole life. I mean, in the respect from authority people. Well, I remember the only thing my mother ever saying. You asked me about 5 and 6. Let me tell you the one memory that I have when I was 5 and 6. Well, Tennessee Ernie Ford, by the way, had a hit song called 16 Tons, and that was like my favorite song of my childhood. It's like, that is my childhood. That is my theme song, by the way. If you see me coming, you know that lyric? If you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't and a lot of men died. One fist of iron, the other of steel. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. So that's like my, that song,
well,
that
what did
verse.
you like about it so much?
Well, that's the aggressive nature. I mean, that's me.
Was it?
That is me. That verse in that song is my life. That's it. Psychoanalysis. Network 7 Psychoanalysis. Ha, ha, ha.
Celebrate Vegas style at Wheatley's Caesars Palace Luton or the Circus Tavern Purfleet. Spectacular floor show plus star cabaret. Cannon Ball, Michael Barrymore, Jim Davidson, Jimmy Jones, Hale and Pace, Lenny Henry, The Shadows, The Stylistics, Billy Joe Spears, Tammy Wynette, and the incomparable Freddie Starr. Book now for a great night out at Wheatley's Caesars Palace on Luton 491313 or Wheatley's Circus Tavern on Purfleet 4001.
Our price. Rap, track. 20 mega rapping house hits. Rap, track. Rap, track.
Dance with the speaker till you hear it blow.
What's it gonna take to get the hottest album on the street? All the hits plus the #1 from Yaz. Rap, track. Mad about music? You can win a hi-fi system with Trivial Pursuit. Pop into our price and pick up a leaflet now.
Hey, Freddie, what's happening?
My parents drained the pool.
Oh, so who wants to swim, huh?
The band didn't show.
Well, you have a stereo, right?
The bus from the girls' school broke down.
I see girls.
We're out of Pepsi.
Oh, man.
In America, a cola by any other name just isn't the same.
Picture yourself with a travel card. You can save money just by using it for your trips to work and back. Use it at your leisure and you can save even more. On top of that, you're free to use the buses at no extra cost. The travel card, it's the business.
There's a feeling that can hit you anytime and any place. There's one who knows the secret of that one and only taste.
Tender chicken, herbs and spices too, that brings the taste so secret, deliciously to you.
The secret's in the taste.
Imagine this is a high-performance engine. Put in an ordinary multigrade. Imagine this is an identical engine. Put in Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. Start them up. Now, temperatures in some parts of your engine could reach 295 degrees centigrade if driven to extremes. But when you see that eventually something like this can happen to an ordinary multigrade, the case for Mobil 1 is pretty clear.
Don't get a complex, get Amplex. Fresh breath capsules for total freshness.
If you play the Golden Wonder Crisps game, you could win a nice prize. Very nice prize. This island.
Win an island in the Seychelles free from Golden Wonder Crisps.
The best of Al Green, High Life, the best of a soul sensation, on album or cassette and CD with 4 bonus tracks now.
At 9 o'clock, Dynasty and Jeff confronts Blake. When the chips are down with
Someone tells me if I...
Yeah, that's swell.
Well, one thing is certain, and that is if you're off...
Platini over the ball for France.
Come, Benson.
Earlier, Eddie and Andrea here were hypnotised and they regressed to what seemed like past lives. We're now going to see a bit of it.
Part of the 1800s. The year is 1844. This is 1844. Tell me, who are you? What is your name?
Malcolm.
Malcolm. Hello, Malcolm. How old are you, Malcolm?
14.
You're 14. And where do you live?
Buxton.
You live in Buxton? That's Buxton, Derbyshire, isn't it?
Buxton.
I see. Tell me, what are the streets like there? Are they sort of paved or tarred or what?
Square with cobbles, loads of cobbles.
I see.
And hills and trees.
I see. Tell me, what do you do? What work do you do?
I work for my uncle.
You work for your uncle? What's your uncle's name?
It's Fred.
Eddie, how did you feel when you were under hypnosis?
I sort of knew what I was saying, but I don't know where I got the names. It's quite unbelievable when you see it back.
You're disappointed that you weren't a gladiator?
Yeah, I was a bit.
You think you might have been one in perhaps another life?
Yeah, maybe. I'd like to spend more time, actually. I'd like to see you again. You know, I think it's probably a lot of distractions around, and it'd be very interesting to see if I could go back further.
I think he would produce quite a few more lives under ideal conditions, remembering that I only met Eddie 10 minutes before the programme started.
All right. Andrea, you were speaking, you were a French girl, I think, when you regressed, but you didn't seem to be able to answer any of the questions. Do you think you really did go back in time?
I felt French. I had a sense of my surroundings, and it felt like it was in Paris. But when people were asking me questions, the main thing that I felt was I was really annoyed at being interrupted with what I was doing, therefore I didn't want to answer
Let's
them.
go and find out what the historians thought. Was there anything that Eddie or Andrea said that led you to think that they were in another time?
No.
No,
Nothing.
Nothing. The only thing that Eddie was able to say was that Matlock was near Buxton, and that is true. But a lot of the questions that we asked him, which were questions about local landowner, what the locality was like. Matlock was a spa town. He should have known that sort of, you know, the aristocracy and the people were going there. He didn't seem to have any answers to that, so that wasn't very convincing. But then the conditions weren't very good.
Yeah, the questions could have been asked in a more rigorous fashion under quieter conditions. I don't think this is a fair test, really, if you want to use historical means to verify this. There's not a lot today, though, that would indicate that there is much
Pamela, you were asking
truth.
a lot of questions off air to Andrea, who was Jeanette, a French girl at the time, in French, but she didn't seem to be able to answer any of them. Why do you think that was?
Not only could she not really answer them, but her French was clearly not really French. She made grammatical errors that nobody would make if they were French speaking. She put masculines into the feminine and vice versa, which no French speaking person would do that. And she didn't know basic things that we thought she would know. She said she was a violinist, but she didn't know the names of world-famous violinists at the time.
I think she did pick up on one violinist's name.
On Menuhin.
She picked up on Menuhin, but everybody knows about Menuhin now. The only thing that was interesting about that was that she said Menuhin was young, and he was a child prodigy in the 30s.
We're back in the Network 7 bunker. Now, a few minutes ago, I told them that they're going to have to spend an extra week here for the experiment, but we seem to have a bit of a rebellion on our hands. So, what exactly is happening?
Well, we're going to be in democracy for the past week. We'll hold a vote on it.
No way. Don't get it.
Going. I don't know, the stunts built by Network 7 this week.
Right.
Come on.
So, Mark, what are the real reasons why you're leaving?
Oh, no, you're insane. We've been for like last 3 days have been pretty bad. Another week's not gonna work, you know.
Oh, you've all got outside
We've got
commitments.
commitments outside this week too, and really we've been itching the straits, and I can see, you know, quite a bit of hassle over.
What do you
week.
think another week would actually do to you here, spending your time with all these people?
I don't think it'd do me any good.
No. Has anybody been actually sort of frightened by any bouts of aggression?
There's been a few instances where we've lost aggression, not on each other. sort of like had to get it out under the things I always sort of hitting the wall and things like that.
Well, you're just hitting daylight now.
Sound brilliant.
What do you think of this? Your first daylight.
I'm getting up high off the fresh air.
All right, what's the first thing you're going to do? Go to the pub?
I'm
Or?
going to go to the pub, then I'm going to go home, have a bath and go to bed.
Now, only one person can make the choice. Who's got the job? Fiona?
I have to say, it's for me, it's the Wannabes.
On last week's Network 7, the Wannabes, a group of people who've never made a television commercial before, defeated the power and experience of the Pros, a crack creative team featuring people from Saatchi & Saatchi, the world's largest advertising agency. Their prize? To make the new 30-second television commercial for Just 17 magazine.
First of all, we do a storyboard so we can see what the ad will look like. Well, first of all, we thought the most important thing is we get it good, strong colours and clear images.
The reason we chose this particular model was she had a sort of freshness of face. There was no makeup there, there was an instant sort of appeal, and she seemed to be fairly new to it, just as we are ourselves.
Fashion plus pop plus beauty plus this week's charts plus gossip plus some good advice. Just 17 adds up to so much more.
Network 7's come to Rio. It's 12 o'clock on a Saturday night, and we're at one of the 20 or so samba schools in the city. They're all like first division football teams fighting each other for the best music in next year's Rio Carnival. And just like all the rest, these guys down the road think they're going to win.
Carlos Augusto de França Nobre Pinto.
Tell me what is happening here.
It's a big party. I cannot explain. You have to see it. I hope they are seeing it because it's wonderful, but they have to see it. They have to feel it.
porque além de ser uma oração da avenida principal, é o samba, é algo que a gente traz no coração, vai descansar tudo jogar lá na avenida.
It's on the blood. We feel it. It's a lot of people being happy together. It's fantastic. I love it. They are very poor and they expect a better life. And sometimes they have to pick up some illusions and they have to try to deceive themselves. We have to try to deceive themselves. We are very exploited for everybody.
The time has come to see whether we can solve our simulated crime that happened at the beginning of the programme. Bronnie here was mugged. Two guys steamed through a crowd, took a handbag with contents worth about £100. Now, we have rounded up the suspects based on these two photo fits here. Remember, it was a simulated crime. Bronnie knew it was happening, but these witnesses didn't. So could you go up? Let's have our identification people, please. Could you come on? And witnesses, go up there and have a good look at all the guys as they come on. Take your time. Obviously, we're going to be faster than you would normally be, but please have a good look and make your choice. Now, Mark is a solicitor who sees identification parades like this one every week. What's the law governing these?
Well, very simply, it's designed to make sure it's fair and there's the minimum amount of error. So what happens is you can have an identification parade at a police station where you have a line with the suspect in it, or possibly you can have what's called a group identification at a tube station or something like that, or a direct confrontation between a witness and a suspect.
So they actually say, is this the man?
That's right, yes.
And on a tube station, they'll be mixed in with the crowd?
On a tube station, the suspect's mixed in with the crowd and comes out with his choice.
It's fairly haphazard. There must be mistakes made.
Well, there's always the possibility of mistakes, particularly because, of course, a lot of identifications take place considerable time after the event's concerned.
OK, now this one, of course, happened fairly quickly. But is evidence from a parade enough to get someone to go to trial?
Very few prosecutions are brought entirely on identification evidence, but it's fair to say that identification evidence can often be very important in deciding whether or not someone is going to be charged.
OK, so our witnesses, I think you've had enough time. Could you come and join me and tell me who you think it is? First of all, who do you think it is?
Number 4 and number 10.
Number 4 and 10?
10 and 4.
10 and 4?
Yeah.
10 and 4?
4 and 8.
4 and 8. So we've all gone for 4 and 10, apart from one person who thinks it's number 8. So, who do you think it is? We've got the action replay. You can see it taking place there, and off they go. We've got a good shot of one of them and not of the other. So, were you right? I think the time has come to reveal who the real one was. So, could the real two culprits please step forward? So, completely wrong. We got 10 right, but we didn't get number 3 right. So there you are. It just goes to show, obviously, this was quite shortened in time, but this evidence is very important indeed. So it just goes to show how important and how easily mistakes can be made. So I think the important thing is, have you got the bag? Have you got the handbag? I think he's got it. You've got the handbag somewhere. Okay. Witnesses, can I just have a quick word? You got 1 right and 1 wrong.
I chose 10.
Right. What do you think went wrong?
I think they've changed their hair slightly because this one, I think he had his hair up when we saw him before. I mean, I might be wrong, but I think he did have his hair up before.
He's combed it down, yeah.
Well, he
combed it down the side.
Yeah.
It was up.
Well, he actually had a cap on. Did any of you notice that?
We did, yeah. But we weren't sure what it was.
Did he wear a bandana?
No.
Well,
But there was something that he was wearing that he isn't wearing now.
It was jacket.
The shades.
He had shades on. Okay, so that made a difference. Okay, so a difficult process, but as I say, how many times do you know a mugger who will actually stop and smile for a witness? It's difficult, but this is how sometimes mistakes can be made. Thanks all very much indeed. Well done. You're not under arrest.
I've got a little surprise for you. We all know you're a big, tough guy, Ben. But that doesn't mean that you're a loner, and it takes a big man to admit that he needs his friends. We didn't want to break up a winning team, Ben, so here they are, ready to go for broke, right by your side. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben's buddies, Harold Weiss and William Laughlin!
Proposition.
We see there's a lot of new stuff going on there because of the population explosion. You do know about the population explosion, don't you?
I think so.
Well, anyway, with all the people being born there, I'll be able to get on the first wave and grow with them. Raise pineapples, coconuts, natural pearls. So you see, Rosie...
Sure, I see. You want me to give you some money.
No, not give. Invested with me.
Look, when I take those kids bowling, it makes them work for me. That's an investment. But you, no one ever got anything out of you. So if I laid bread on you, it wouldn't be investing, it would be giving.
You're English, right?
That's right.
I'm Irene Steen. Steen, not Stein.
Irene Steen, computers. Thanks very much.
So what do you think?
Well, I think it's extremely bad. Really, very bad indeed.
Henderson, I'd like you to meet my brother.
Oh, hello.
The artist.
Tonight at 7:15 on 4, Equinox takes a road test to assess the efficiency of our highways and byways.
This program will put road technology to the test. 7 of the country's top traffic experts have been invited to conduct an experiment. a test drive from Milton Keynes to Maidstone to try out some of the country's most congested roads during the morning rush hour.
Check in for a road test tonight at 7:15 on 4.